Okay, hello everyone. For today's video, I'll be talking about convertible securities as continuation of the earlier episode. So, what are convertible securities? We'll be talking about them in this topic lecture. So, we have convertible bonds. So, securities originally issued as bonds or even preferred stock by a corporation and containing a provision that gives investors the option to convert their bonds to shares of the issuing firm. So these are mostly what we call preferred stock. So issued by a corporation. Convertible bonds. Convert itself, you have the option to convert into shares. Okay? Same sa itong stock yan. Pwede mo siya i-change into instead of a bond, ang imong paliton share na lang sa company. Okay? Or share sa stock sa company. So convertible is because they contain attributes of both debt and equity. So that's why hybrid siya. Pwede siya utang at the same time, pwede po siya asset. So they should be viewed primarily as equity principles as investment like that. So it's value and measuring the value of a convertible. So convertible securities are popular with investors because of their equity kicker. Again, pwede siya ma-convert diretso into share into an asset instead of just a simple bond or utang. So the right to convert these bonds into shares of the company's common stock. So the market price of convertible often behaves very much like the price of its underlying stock. So most of the time, kung convert ka kag bond, dahil mo siya og mostly composed of shares, shares or stock. So they are issued are either convertible bonds and convertible. What are these convertible issues? So these are convertibles that are usually viewed as a form of preferred equity. Convertibles are usually viewed as a form of deferred equity in which dili siya finally sa imo. Dili siya final nag-issue with sa imo because wala ka nag-buy directly. Siguro ani nga bond. Kaya again, murag siya utang. Giutang nimo ang stock sa ilo. So we also have convertible notes and bonds. So convertible notes are like convertible bonds, except the debt portion of the security carries a shorter maturity. So again, kung notes guys is done in years, while bonds are more or less secured. Okay, convertible bonds, convertible notes, security notes, and security bonds. So we also have what we call forced conversion. So while the bond holder has the right to convert the bond at any time, more often than not, the issuing firm initiates the conversion by calling the bond. So most of the time, yes, pwede yun siya nimo i-convert anytime, but ang mahitabo kay gina-call ang bond, or ginabalik, okay, kung ano siya, ginabalik sa company para i-change into a stock or a share. So that's forced conversion. So imo siya again gibawi ni company ang bond kay gi-call niya balik. So gi-call niya diretso ang bond para ma-change into an equity, convert it to equity. So that's what we call the forced conversion. So wala pa man din siya nag-mature. So we also have privileges when it comes to conversion. So we have conversion privilege. So the key element of a conversion stipulates the conversion feature. So yung privilege if it is the agreement na kanina siya nga security or kaning investment na pwede i-convert okay into equity. So that is your privilege. Some kay dili ni siya ginahatag na option. But most of the time, kung requested ka na siguro mo siya. Next would be conversion period. The time period during which a convertible issue can be converted. Probably based sa inyong kontrata or based sa lagay sa kasabutan dito nga na siya conversion period of 5 years. Okay, let's say for example, kaning nga bond is a convertible bond. So, nasa conversion period of 5 years. After 5 years, hindi siya pwede ma-convert. So, that is what we call the conversion period. Well, we have conversion ratio. So, denote the number of common shares an investor receives by converting a bond. So, di mo daw ni ang imong ay mo daw ni ang ratio. For example, ang imong bond is worth 1 million. So, kung i-convert mo siya into shares, mahimo ra siya og at least 2% sa shares ng imong company. So, depende na, okay, against the company. So, let's say, for example, the company so only 2% lang. So, market conversion ratio, again, denotes the number of common shares na pwede rin yung A receive, probably at 2%. So, next would be conversion price. So, indicates the implicit price per share that an investor pays by trading a bond for a share of stock. So, the implicit price. So, this would be the price of the insect conversion. Say, for example, ang per stock DI or yeah, per stock or per share is worth 500,000. So, that's why only 2% lang imuha. Kaya imuha din, bond is only worth 1 million. So, pag-convert, ang iyarang conversion price is worth 500,000. So, that's at least 2% sa imong makuha ng company. So, example lang siya. So it indicates again the price that an investor should pay when it comes to trading a bond for share of stock. So we also have what we call Lion, LYON. So liquid yield is the option to think or to consider. So these are some investment outlets. So we have zero coupon convertible bond that is convertible at a fixed conversion ratio for the life of the issue. So napod tayo murag option. So it can be convertible at a certain ratio daw. So let's say liquid yield option na. Napod kay another option to consider. So na daw sila sabutan nga only at kanina daw nga ratio pwede siya ma-convert. So at 500,000 na daw. So, something like that. So a zero coupon bond with both a conversion feature and a put option. So no current income but no limit on potential capital appreciation. Put option allows security to be sold back to issuer at pre-specified prices, providing downside protection. Ang nakapait gyapon sa Lion, again, LYON is kuan mo to kanang sila magbuot sa conversion ratio. So say for example, the ratio would be 1% na share at 500,000, something like that. But kani siya, another option for you to consider. Probably after 10 years na ni siya option. Say for example, option 1 is naka-conversion period of 5 years. Option 2, conversion period for the rest of the life. So anytime pwede daw ka mag-go into Lion but fix ang inyong conversion ratio. So which is 1% lang daw at 500,000. So source of value. So the value of convertibles is based on both the stock and the bond dimension of the security. So again, gabi siya sa stock of bond dimension sa security. That's when you'll realize na amo din yung value kung i-convert siya to stock sa bond. So convertible trade much like common stock as the market price of the stock starts getting close to or exceeds the stated conversion price. So most of the time, same lang gyapon sa common stock na pwede nimo siya i-convert anytime, especially when ang iyang price kay mas close siya sa conversion price. Let's say for example, um ang imuha di ay kanang bond kay only 300,000. So mag-wait ka until pwede siya ma-convert into 500,000 mo doon ang conversion price. Mo nimong goal di ay i-achieve. So after pila ka years naabot na siya, then imo na siya i-convert into a share kay mas ganahan di kay share equity kay mas temporary siya compared to debt. So convertibles trade much like a bond when the market price of the stock is well below the conversion price. So mas nice siya kung ang iyahang price kay mas below sa conversion price. So bond price sets a price floor in case the stock price goes into a free fall. So if possible, I have a trade if the conversion price is low. Mas dali. Mas preferred, let's say for example, 300,000 conversion price. So probably say mo 1 million or 5, at least 3% advantage. So measuring the value of a convertible, we have this equation, conversion value. This indicates what the convertible issue would trade for if it were priced to sell on the basis of its stock value. So this would be its formula. Conversion value is equal to the conversion ratio multiplied by the current market price of the stock. Okay, conversion value. Modern value. So don't worry, we won't be doing much of this one. To the the conversion equivalent, it indicates the price at which the common stock would have to sell in order to make the convertible security worth its present market price. So conversion equivalent, that's when you realize na din you need na i-achieve na amount para na ma-convert siya. So we have current equivalent equals to the current market price of the convertible bond over the conversion rate. So we also have what we call the conversion premium. To the extent to which the market price of the convertible exceeds its conversion value. So mas nidako daw yung market price. So investors are willing to pay a premium because of the added current income provided relative to the underlying stock and because of the convertible's upside potential. So we have conversion premium improvement is equals to conversion premium in dollars over the value. When you'll get the conversion premium, again, we won't be talking about that much. The next would be investment value, the price at which the bond would trade if it were non-convertible and if it were priced at or near the prevailing market yield of the comparable non-convertible bond. The investment value code, this is the value in which dili daw siya convertible. Ilang lugar daw ang equivalent amount. So the present value of its coupon stream and its par value discounted at a rate equal to the prevailing yield on comparable non-convertible securities. So most of the time, investment value is its present value. Given nga mga, let's say for example, di naman yung investment value if di na to siya i-convert. So let's say for example, for mga 1 million, after 5 years, may tatak siya 1.3. So that is what we call the investment value. Kundi di daw siya i-convert. But if i-convert daw siya, so probably kuan, medyo nigamay ang iyang value because of some things na need i-consider. So I guess that's it. Now I'll just continue. We will be talking about bond valuation. So what is bond valuation? So how can we put values with us? So same lang yung pangalan ng topic. So may different one sila kung inline. But this one we have talked about two things at the same time how to convert convert these data. So we have bond valuation. So the required return on a bond can be expressed as this formula. So for bonds, the risk premium versus the default risk of the issuer, liquidity and for call. So dapat i-consider naman ito. Ha? Risk premium. We'll be talking about the behavior of market interest rate. So the risk-free rate, the real rate of return, plus expected inflation, this one, expected inflation premium, IP, plus the accounts for interest rate and purchasing power risk. So keeping tabs on market interest rate. A bond is not a single market, but consists of many different sectors. Dili lang daw isa. We have, let's say, Philippine treasury issues, municipal bond issues, and corporate bond issues. We discussed earlier. So there is no single interest rate that applies to all the segments of the bond market. Again, di wala naging follow na tabla ay naging issue na interest rate. Yield spread, because we already two different rates between the various. So this spread is wider, especially if the price kailangan sila po. If for example, Philippine issues is bigger, Probably not provided. About one rate, probably the lower you are in the rate, the lower. But if you have 100, so probably, especially in municipal, kung nag-straight ako nag-responsible ng ginastos. So general obligation bonds is for rate grant bonds. So general obligation may sila o ginabayaran na rate kaysa sa checking income generated na bond. While treasury bonds have lower rates than corporate bonds due to no default risk and exemption from state income tax. Mas gagmay pud si government sa treasury bonds kaya hindi siya tax kasi government lang mismo yung nag-issue. While the lower the credit rating and the higher the risk, the higher the interest rate. So again, kung gamay yung credit rating, the higher ang iyong interest. And the higher po ang iyong risk. The bonds with longer maturities generally provide higher yields than short-term issues, but not always the case. So most of the time, longer maturity, mas higher yield, ang kuan, ginang in mind always. But that's not always the case now that we can use information type of bonds. So freely callable bonds generally pay higher interest rates than non-callable. Kung nakanay sa freely callable, which is pwede na i-call ang bond, i-cancel ang bond, okay? Like just like interest rate, but very risky because again, anytime pollution of money. So what are the major causes rates to move? So major determinants of interest rate. Inflation, which is the most important driver of effect in market rate. Holding other factors constant. Number one you can consider the interest is inflation. It is expected that inflation goes up, the interest rate also goes up. So inflation goes down, interest rate goes down too. Okay, kaya mataas man tanan ang mga value po sa inyong bank. Okay? So in addition to inflation, five other economic variables can significantly affect the level of aside from inflation na panaway in variables. As you can see here, this is the impact of inflation on the behavior of interest rates from 1963 to 2018. So sa una daw, ang inflation rate kanitaas for pila ni ka year, 1968 to 2018. Imagine. So night time nga nitaas siya, nga ni-lower down, ni-lower down. Karon mubo pa yung inflation, pero currently nitaas na pito. So, kaya hinahinay na po taas ang inflation sa ato ang mga 20. So these are some of the major determinants of interest rates. So we have economic variables like change in money supply, like more slow increase, fast increase, and iyang effects on rates, the federal budget, kung na by deficit or surplus, kung na daghan ba ta og utang or daghan ba ta sobra. Economic activity na by recession or expansion. Recession man pa mo karon due to inflation. Kay maraming siya depressed state na sa inflation. Taas-taas na yung inflation. While Federal Reserve policies, is it expansionary or contractionary, and some interest rates are variable. So these can affect our interest rates. So again, it changes throughout time, especially for um, so we have term structure of interest rate. So these are the relationship between interest rate, such as yield, and the time of maturity for any class of similar security. Term structure of these rates are depending again in its maturity and in- we have the yield curve, so it graph reflects this relationship. Ang iyang relationship sa iyang time, sa iyang interest. We have types of yield. So most common type is upward sloping. So upward daw nga slope, while occasionally the yield curve becomes inverted. Wag sa inverted to down for flat rates for short and long-term debt are essentially the same. So same thing lang sila. While we have lastly the hump one, Slump is when intermediate rates are the highest. So this is the example of these two types of yield curves. So downward sloping or inverted curve and upward sloping inverted curve. So base niya siya sa yield to maturity and term to maturity na years. Um, sa isa ka, what we call that one bond. Okay, bond. So the interest rate mostly inanigid ang papahitabo. So pataas na siya ng pataas. It depends on, again, the class and type. Probably upward sloping, so papataas ang rate throughout time, or from high to low. Move. So plotting your own curve. So you need to plot your curve. So we have treasury securities. So these could be bills, notes, bonds that are usually used to construct yield curves for several reasons. So treasury securities have no risk of default because again these are cannot be kanang fixed kaya ang treasury securities. So dinagpuan gyud siya. But so they construct yield curves for different reasons. Okay, first, talag wala taxes ang exempt to government is mostly in treasury. So they are actively traded, so their prices and yields are easy to observe. Most of the time, mauna silang pinaka-common so may trade. They are relatively hum, homogeneous with regards to quality and other issues. So they can affect the fund. They also construct yield curve for the classes of debt securities such as A-rated municipal bond, AA-rated corporate bonds, and even certificate of deposit. So it can have construct yield curve from high to low or low to high based on its class or type. So I guess that's it. I will be ending my discussion here. Ako lang i-continue ako discussion on the next recording or video. So everyone, if you have any questions, please feel free to message me. Thank you and goodbye.